If you met me 2 years ago, you would probably give me a very, 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 very slim chance of being alive here today. And I say that because by the time I was 19, I'd already been to treatment 6 times in the span of 3 years. I was addicted to mental problems, burned all the bridges with my family, had stolen from them. Some of my friends still cared for me, but that was from a distance. I was just so self-destructive. There's not really anything they could have done for me at the time. I could sit here and go on for days about how self-destructive and bad my life was around that time, but I feel like that's not going to get the point that I'm trying to get across. That's not really what this video is about. But if y'all want to hear more about that, or hear more of an explanation about that, I could do that later on in the future if that's something y'all want to see. And I wish I could sit here and accurately display or explain the thought process and the insanity and just the lack of control that comes with addiction. But unless you've gone through it yourself, I feel like you're not going to be able to really understand it, if that makes sense. There's just some things in life that unless you've gone through it, you're not going to be able to understand it. If you asked me at the beginning of treatment if I was ever going to go back to where I was or touch drugs or do anything like that again, I would have told you with 100% certainty, no, I will not. But in the end, I can't control myself if I don't fix the internal problem that I have. And I feel like the biggest thing that got in my way for the longest time was trying way too hard and focusing and putting way too much effort and energy on just getting sober. And there's not really one magical equation to get sober, get clean, or fix your life. Everything's gonna be different for everybody regardless of what you go through, regardless of what situations you have, regardless of how your brain works. I can't tell you exactly what worked for me step by step and expect it to work for you. I'm still bad at my phone. There's some days I just waste my whole day or half of my day on my phone whenever I'm telling myself apparently get off your phone, bro, you got stuff to do. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to come on here and say I'm perfect. But the thing that finally helped me move past my old way of thinking and actually get to build myself and create who I am today is putting less energy on trying to get clean and sober and putting more energy on trying to discover myself. For me, one of the biggest things that ever made me fall back in my recovery and want to escape my situation and just fall back into my old way of thinking was being alone, but also meeting new people and social anxiety per se. My first couple times trying to get sober, whenever I moved out of my parents' house when I was 17, moved to Austin, started trying to, get really into the recovery community, I would put so much effort and emphasis on going to meetings at first that I would get burnt out from meetings. But then I wouldn't take time for myself to go to the gym, go box, go do things like that. So in the end, that just led to me feeling neglected in one way in my life, but also burnt out from the part of my life that was actually helping me grow. That's just something that really got in my way, was putting way too much emphasis and trying way too hard without thinking about what I'm actually doing and what's hurting me and, listening to what my heart's telling me. I'm trying not to sound like guru-y or inspirational-y or whatever, because I'm not a professional, I'm not a genius, or I'm not someone who's oh, I'm sober for life, I've fixed myself, bro. No, I'm just someone who finally figured out a way to break the cycle I was in that I thought I was never going to get out of, that 99% of people don't get out of. And I want to be able to share how I did that. And overall, I realized I forgot to talk about this, but dude, the biggest thing that helped me, obviously once I got myself established, right after I got out of treatment this last time, I did the work, really stepped back and looked at my situation. And after I did that, I came home, and all the free time I had, I genuinely spent it working on Instagram, working on clothes, working on whatever, because I knew the way my mind worked around that time, I knew my dopamine was so cooked around then that I wouldn't be able to just sit there and work on other stuff besides what I actually wanted to. And doing that kept me so busy and so focused on that I didn't have any time to focus on using or messing my life up, And over time, while doing that, working on myself, by 6 months after that, I already felt like a completely new person, which had never happened to me before. And honestly, the way my brain works is I know I'm gonna work better if I have more pressure. The less pressure I have on myself, the more I feel like I could be lax on myself and do whatever I want. And now, having a kid, having a good job, having something to work on, taking care of myself, having a good relationship with the people I love, and to like listen to myself and grow and like remember how I used to be, and also try everything I can to remember that and not let that slip out of my head and forget and just think I'm like some regular old person. Because no, I will go and like tear things to pieces in like the span of 5 days if I really don't take care of myself and let things slip. One thing I will say to just sum everything up is, if you relate to anything I say, or you feel like you can relate to some of the problems I've had, is take a step back, make calculated decisions. You know, don't rush into things like, oh shoot, I gotta fix my life together, blah 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 blah. So that's just gonna force you to put yourself in a situation that you didn't even want to be in the first place. You know, take a step back, look at your situation, figure out what's going to be the best decision for you. And if you don't know, find someone else who's been in your situation who can guide you in the right direction. Yeah, don't give up on yourself. It took me 6 times of literally sitting in the back of a car crying or freaking out or being nonchalant or literally out of it, going to a place to get clean, hoping I never have to come back, and coming right back. It took 6 times for me to finally get it right. Let me know what kind of videos y'all want to see. You know, I'm sorry this one's kind of just like more sad tone, like down and like kind of more informational, but I'm planning on posting a ton of stuff. If y'all want to see some vlogs, family vlogs, whatever, I'm coming at y'all. So yeah, expect some more stuff. Let me know what y'all thought about this one. Hit that subscribe. It really does help out. I'm trying to build this channel up. Let me know what y'all think. For real, let me see a comment. Even if it's just, oh, this is good, just let me know. You know, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. I hope you have a blessed day.